Welcome to Iconically Iconic.
Hello, babes. Welcome back to the channel. If you are new, welcome. So in today's video, we will be talking about the relationship dynamics and complicated relationship between both Max and Kyle. So let's get into it. So as I've stated before, I wanted to talk about the relationship dynamics between Kyle and Max. The couple we all loved. They were funny, educated, and had the best comebacks, and were always dressed to impress. They were who we were rooting for to get together and our favorite 90s TV couple. Now, while they had chemistry and had deep feelings for one another, there were a lot of issues within their relationship. Now, Kyle and Max aren't your typical couple. They throw insults and jabs at one another, something I feel like is their love language. However, Kyle knows when to be vulnerable and love on Max, but it wasn't always reciprocated, and Kyle was always given more in their relationship. While Max was a beautiful, funny, well-dressed, educated, and respected lawyer, when it came to her relationship with Kyle, she didn't know how to leave that competitive, assertive, domineering energy at work. Being a lawyer, you're always in defense mode because you have to be that way. Your clients rely on you to fight their cases and win. But she never knew how to turn it off when it came to her relationship with Kyle. Kyle was naturally a leader like Max was, confident, sometimes arrogant, debonair, intelligent, and a successful stockbroker. But he knew when to shut off his work self and be present in their relationship. So they first hook up after Max loses her job and needs someone to vent to. However, that venting ended up with her getting drunk and sleeping with Kyle. Which is funny because although she and Kyle weren't the best of friends, she knew she could go and talk to him about what took place. Now, this was the beginning of their complicated relationship. I think they liked each other from the beginning. After their hookup is when their feelings began to grow for one another, even though they both tried denying it. When it came to their relationship, I feel like Kyle put in more effort than Max. I didn't understand why Max wanted to be with Kyle if she was going to be so closed off and treat him like her homeboy rather than her man. Then playing games, pretending as if she didn't care for him. It was extremely childish, and she had no business being in a relationship if she was so scared of getting hurt. And it's understandable to have your guard up for a short while if you've been hurt before and don't want to get hurt again. But if you're that scared to the point where the person you're with feels neglected and like you don't care about them because you're only worrying about your feelings, then you need therapy and to work on yourself and to not be in a relationship. So many people get into relationships and want to take people off the market who are ready for those relationships because they want them selfishly but don't want to put in the work, but also don't want anyone else having them, and do nothing but bring their baggage in those relationships and inflict their hurt from previous relationships on to the next one who doesn't deserve it. Max was entirely too closed off in their relationship. She was avoidant and had an issue expressing her feelings. She didn't even like when Kyle would express his feelings because she didn't have the capacity to deal with her own. I think she had a valid reason for being a bit worried when it came to her relationship with Kyle and didn't want to fall hard for him and end up hurt and was afraid of commitment. When Max's mother had came into town and didn't know anything about Kyle, I felt it was disrespectful and neglectful. And I think had the shoe been on the other foot, Max would have taken issue with that.
Wait, you haven't heard of me, Kyle Barker?
You certainly seem very proud of yourself.
Now let's take out being in a relationship with him. You didn't mention him at all. You can, however, see from her relationship with her mother, it's clear that they didn't have that nurturing, loving relationship, nor did they express their feelings, which explains why she didn't know how to be that in her relationships. Max was too hard when it came to her and Kyle and didn't know when to turn off, as I said before, who she was at work or her friends and show her softer side with her man. I think Kyle really wanted that from her, and two strong personalities more often than not tend to clash, and like Kyle said, it was always a tug of war with Max. She was just so stubborn and controlling. It really got on my nerves, and I love Max down, but that was something that got on my nerves with her. She could never bend for anything. Her friends had to tell her to do something for Kyle's birthday. Like, girl, that is your man. That's just basic common sense, girl. And then when he felt down about his birthday and walked off, again, they had to tell her, Max, girl, you need to go get your man. You need to ask him what's wrong. I also think at times Kyle felt emasculated by Max, especially when she did that thing by telling him to go on a date with that woman, but we'll get to that in a bit. Max had a lot of issues that she needed to work on, including her relationship with her mother. I think her mother being so hard on her caused her issues with her adult life. She was the kind of mother who pushed for nothing but good grades, no failures, you couldn't make any mistakes. If you cried or felt pressure in any way, she would tell you to toughen up, and there was no satisfying her. Whether you were a prominent lawyer, doctor, engineer, etc., she would always have something to nitpick at because she wasn't satisfied in her own life, which is why Max was the way she was. She didn't know how to console people because she didn't have that growing up. She just thought everyone should toughen up and just get over it, which, although not her fault, it's a terrible quality to have. While you may need it sometimes, there are times when some people just need to be consoled, loved on, and told it will be okay, especially someone you're dating. You're supposed to be their safe space. And I know everyone loves Kyle and Max together, and I do too, but I do have to point out the issues that they had in their relationship and how it was always Kyle giving more than she was. And I've seen some people say that they had a healthy relationship, but I don't know. I don't think they had a healthy relationship, especially when you're lacking something in your relationship, such as compassion, loving, affection. Like, that's something that's important in a relationship. Maybe not everyone's relationship, but I feel like affection, you know, loving on your man or woman, hugs and kisses, telling them that everything will be okay, you're there for them, is very important in a relationship. And I think they had amazing chemistry. However, with Kyle, it was about love, and with Max, it was more about lust. She enjoyed him in the bedroom and tolerated him outside of it. And a prime example of that is when she told him to go on a date with another woman while they were together. Who does that? To prove you're not the jealous type or insecure. That isn't even about jealousy or insecurity. That's just simple respect. And then playing games as if she didn't feel a way. I don't know any woman who would do what she did unless you didn't care for the guy and was looking for a way out. And then when he explained to Max that he wants a vulnerable woman and someone who he could open up to and vice versa, she gaslights him.
It was also refreshing being with someone who didn't constantly take pot shots at me.
Well, give her time to know you is traditional.
You make it impossible to talk to you. Everything is a tug of war.
Kyle, what do you want?
I want a woman who is affectionate. I want a woman who has a picture of me in her apartment. I want a woman who does not send me out on dates with other women.
All right. I do have pictures of you. They make wonderful coasters.
You know, you have never taken me or this relationship seriously.
Oh, wait, come on, get off of it, Kyle. I mean, you don't want a girlfriend. You want a psychiatrist who's good in bed. Listen to my problem. Well, hey, look, if I don't make you happy, then why are you with me?
Good point. So why don't we just say I am no longer with you?
What does that mean?
We're through. It's over. Don't want you. Bye-bye.
And Kyle respectfully broke it off with her and she gets petty and breaks up all of his stuff in the box that was his, as though she had a reason to be upset. You can't be upset because people give you back what you gave them. Max didn't know when to just let her guard down. That was one of her biggest flaws that she had, is that she didn't know when to let that down. I felt like Kyle wouldn't hurt her, and Max knew it too, but felt like if she gave in and let her guard down, then Kyle would win. Even though it wasn't even a competition, she made it one. And what he would win, I'm not sure, but I feel like she felt if she let that side of her down and showed her vulnerable side, then he would have something on her, which is a horrible way to think. Some women and men don't know when to ease up and just be with the person they claim to love. And then when that person moves on, they all of a sudden want them back and see what they were missing. And not everyone will take you back. I do love how Kyle and Max were able to joke around with one another and not take things so seriously. That's how relationships should be. Their relationship was entertaining to watch, and I think later on she did let her guard down a bit, not too much, but a little bit, and show a softer side by telling him she loved him.
I love you.
But Max had a lot of work to do when it came to how she navigated in her relationships. When push came to shove, Max was there for her friends and had their backs. She just didn't know how to deal with people who would cry or be emotional in that way, because she was the opposite. And as much as I loved Kyle and Max together, as I stated before, there were a lot of issues that needed to be worked out. And sexual chemistry and lust for one another doesn't mean you're soulmates and belong together. It just means you have sexual chemistry together, which is why I believe you should be mindful of just sleeping with someone or giving yourself up to someone just because you find them attractive, because I feel like sometimes you regret it, or sometimes your judgment is clouded because you just have that chemistry with one another. But other than that, there isn't anything else you have in common with that person. And sometimes people forget you can love each other and not be good for one another. And with that being said, this video has come to an end. Don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe. Make sure your notification bells are turned on so that you always know when I upload. And I will catch you guys in the next one.
All this women's rights stuff just proves one thing.
What?
You want me.
Hey, this is your house. I am just a guest.
Oh, yeah. When I give my heart